Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of TerraTech. We are driving around in the LAV kind of structure here. The wheels have been upgraded to TerraTech. Let me hover over this to get the name properly right here, even though apparently it's carrying too much weight and it's just giving me a warning. So they're pretty much the tier 2 version of the Ventura tech stuff, so they're fast but also heavy, and we have made it a little bit longer, a little bit bulkier in general, which is good. Have added some additional cannons on the side, and then I have also bought the experimental pack for TerraTech, and that allows for some whole new items and weapons to experiment around with. This pack is really just to support developers and things like that. All these items are going to be put into the main game as soon as their balance have been tested by the community, essentially. But you'll see these kind of unicycle vehicles hovering around. There's a gyroscope that you can install on planes or craft to try and get it to self-balance out, which is a pretty cool thing. There's also these fast machine gun armaments that you can get. They're called the Uzi SMG, and you guys can just see how quick those fire. And it's nighttime. It's always nighttime. Why do I always record when it turns nighttime? I don't know. But since we got the new wheels, I went ahead and threw it on the mining craft, and I've also unlocked the kind of basic drill for them, so he can get around quite easily. And then over here, I went ahead and upgraded our scout plane. Our scout plane now is a dual-engined beast. It has a battery and a repair ball, just so if I crash land, it can kind of repair itself out in the wilderness. Now, this thing is, I tried so long to upgrade it to a bomber or something like that, but there's no real weapon systems in the game at the moment to support a bomber type craft. So there's no like release mechanism, there's no cannons that I can track quick enough to fire accurately. And I've even tried putting like down facing lasers and like flying over something and like timing a shot, and then it's just not efficient. These things are definitely, in my opinion, more for scouting, because I mean it's a lot faster to fly around than to put around in your vehicle. One, you can avoid combat. Two, you can just get farther without having to worry about the terrain and things like that. But it's a good way to like scout out, see if there's any cool machines out there that you want to kill for their tech, and then report back to base and come out in a more sufficient fighting vehicle. So I'm just going to go ahead and fly back to base. It's too dark to really do much of anything besides harvest resources. I have about 30,000 credits, and the agenda for today's episode is that we have an LAV. It's pretty big, but I hear clamoring for more like a Land Battleship type thing, and we might try to see if that's doable, though I really wish I had a larger cannon to put on it, so it would be like a proper battleship, but we'll just have to see what we can do. It might end up just being kind of like the St. Louis or something. So go ahead and park our plane over here at just one of the recharge stations, even though there's no real charge left. Man, this LAV, I mean, we have, I think, 12 total either shield and repair balls, so it drains its own power very quickly. But we have plenty of firepower with the addition of our new fast turrets, and we also have some additional cannons on the side to just make it have a little bit more of a punch. So let's see. Daytime, yay. I can actually start recharging stuff. And I would, let's go ahead and show you how the new miner works. It is a lot more efficient than the previous version for sure. Just back on up out here. It needs more wheels. In fact, I'm going to do that before we head out to mine, because it could be even faster and more agile over the slopes. So we're just going to buy a TerraTech Springer wheel. That's the name of these things. We need probably 6 of them. These are fairly expensive. And let's go ahead and drop these on the inside of the undercarriage. Alright. I guess I need 2 more, which we can buy real quick as well. Now for our battleship, or land battleship rather, because it's not really battleship, we will be using the Geo wheels here, so we'll have to use the GeoCorp stuff because they hold a lot more weight to it. So yeah, we're gonna have to use these giant wheels for it, most likely, just based on how heavy it'll end up being. So let's go ahead and kind of put around here. Oh yeah, much quicker now. So yeah, battery low, don't care. So yeah, we can just eat that and then keep moving on. You know, we can just burst our way through forests with these drills, harvest a bunch of wood. Wood is a very abundant resource, which is good because, in my opinion, it's fairly efficient. Bubble nap powered, bubble nap powered. I thought it was trying to tell me I didn't have enough wheels again, which would have been a little depressing. But harvesting a whole bunch of wood, in my opinion, can almost be more efficient than trying to find rare resources. And that's just turnover rate, which is based on, oh, I can either get a bunch of this stuff or a few of the other stuff. And it can be rather relaxing to just go around and deforest a whole continent. Come on, back it up. Back it up. Even with the new wheels, this thing is a little bulky. A little bulky. We'll have to hope the battleship doesn't become like this. But hopefully the bigger wheels will be able to traverse these hills a lot better. Okay, let's go this way. And I'm stuck on a tree. That's not cool. Come on. Get loose. Okay, there we go. Yeah, this thing gets stuck on terrain, it gets stuck on rocks. Even having the higher kind of undercarriage that's higher off the ground, I can accidentally run over a rock and get stuck on it, which can be a little annoying at times. We'll just bounce down this hill because apparently this thing doesn't have any shocks. Just cruise on over here. And just dump all of this stuff off. So that's going to get processed. We'll help into the LAV. Cruise on over, keep finding some things. What is that? This is it's a large battery. Or it's a medium battery. That's pretty cool. Can definitely take up a whole lot less room than others. Just cruise on through here. So this thing does traverse a whole lot better with these new wheels. Plus it is a little bit faster. But I think that's more has to do with the traverse speed. And we are being invaded. Oh my. Is that what I think it is? It's a cannon. Alright. We'll just throw that on there. Great. I was actually hoping to find one of these this episode. And this will help for our land battleship. That's actually, I think, the biggest gun in the game at the moment. It's a megaton cannon. So we'll see what spawns here, because it might be a little rough. Nope. Okay, that's just a big wall of guns is what that is. We'll just go to the side, park right here, and unleash. And apparently this thing shoots some explosive rounds. It's doing really well against this unarmored target. Uh-oh, I don't want to let it get to my side. Okay, we took out some of its wheels. It's gonna take down my shields probably at some point. There we go. Just give it a nice broadside. I wonder how expensive this cannon is to buy. Because it might be more efficient for us to actually purchase, or not purchase, but go into free build mode and save a design for our battleship, and then just purchase the whole thing at once, than trying to figure it all out. So after I destroy this thing, which is taking its sweet time, here we go. You dead yet? There, now he's dead. We'll just back on up. Oh wow, this gun's so cool. We'll just put this back there. Boom. Boom! That's how it's done. Alright, let's go ahead back to base. And I didn't put a radar dish on this thing. Should have done that. So we'll just put on over. We do have rockets installed, of course, to give us a little bit of a speed boost if we're stuck on terrain and things. So go ahead and just drain those. They do recharge rather quickly. I could add more fuel tanks, but I'm afraid the weight's kind of almost at its limit. Glad I was able to grab this cannon. So let's go see how expensive some things are. Is there a hostile over here? Yes, there is. Come on, up, up. Is my wheel just stuck? Of course it is. Let's take care of this hostile real quick. He's just a small little thing. And he's dead. Alright, let's go ahead and see what this cannon costs. 4,000. So I'm thinking maybe just to have 4 of them. 2 in the front, 2 in the back. That allows us to do a broadside. Rather good. And then we can just load up on other cannons and things. There's a gyro stabilizer that you can buy. Medium batteries. Whoa, 12,000. Wow. This is going to be an expensive thing for sure. Alright. So I'm going to see you guys as soon as we're in kind of the experimental build area. And we'll start putting together our battleship. Alright, here we are. We're in the R&D test area. All the plot parts are available to us to play with. And we'll just kind of start with the chassis. Chassis is usually the best thing to start with. So let's see, I'm gonna do this and this. It's gonna be these 2 wide essentially, and then that in front. No, not that in front. We'll stick with this. We'll stick with these blocks here. All right. And then I need, well, let's just hop into build mode, I guess. So I do want this to have a single gap, like so. And we can put some internals in there. But it's not gonna like doing what I want to be done either. It looks like these Geocorp stuff is based on an even number count. Which means I kind of need to do... I need to put another spacer in here just so we can get started. And when we can line the interior with the bubbles. Essentially, this is why I'm leaving it empty. Come on. Flip around the right way that I need you to be. No? How about if I do this and start from this corner? No, that's not gonna work either. Sometimes you really have to use other blocks to try and get spacing of things correct. There we go. That's what I wanted. And we can connect them here and here. So we are going for a boat shape, of course. I think that's the best thing to do. If we're making a land battleship, might as well make an actual kind of ship shape on this one. And then, let's see. So we can put our wheels up the front like that. It's going to be rather low, because it is going to look really heavy, so it would look weird if it had a tall center of mass. So there's that. Let's see if this dries. Can this hold the weight well? Oh man, the turning radius is so slow. But hey, it's a battleship. It's not supposed to turn very quick. So there we go. It's our basic frame. Let's just teleport back to the center here. And throw on our first gun. To go right there. We need the back version of it as well. Like that. And then to make them be able to shoot over each other, I need to raise this one up by 1. Okay, there we go. That's looking pretty proper. Let's do this again. Now I had to try and use blocks that I have unlocked, because if I don't have them unlocked and I do save this plan to load in to the game, what's going to happen is we had to go searching for the parts at that point. So let's see. It still moves. It's good. It shoots. I can clear the other one, which is great. And then I kind of want this thing. But first, let's go ahead and grab some big batteries here. These things are heavy. And we need something. I have a feeling we're going to need a generator, so we'll just throw that down, even though it's sideways for some reason. Come on, flip around. No? Do you not have connection points at the bottom? You don't. That's weird. It's really weird. So I have to connect it on the side, and the best thing to do there is kind of throw a block like this, make it too tall. Because, you know, we need our citadel here, where the main cockpit's going to sit. And then let's make this 2 more tall, or partially covered onto this section. Alright. And then we need this. Doesn't have clearance over the main guns. We need to make this taller. And so, of course, the cockpit will go up here. There we go. That's looking like something. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. I have no idea. Let's use the 3 block, because I don't think I have the 4th one researched, so kind of limited here to use 3s. There we go. and we'll have to work on our secondary at some point. Oh yeah, I need those bubbles. I need the... that's the shield. And that's the repair. And then we need one for the front end. It's the repair. That's the shield. The repair one has a red cross through it, kind of like a medical symbol, you know. Then I can just start building the upper deck. Like so. Yeah, let's just make the upper deck connect to the back gun there. And then we need to throw on some more stuff. Let's see. Well, this thing is going to be combat. I do want to be able to make money off of it. And the best thing to do there is to bring one of these along. And this is a salvager. And what the salvager is going to do for us is break down any parts that we put on it into its base components so it can be sold. So we're going to run it that way. This is the insert, this is the exit side of it. In which case, we need a small little cannon here just to allow us to sell some things. I wonder if I can put it just on top of each other just so it looks cooler. No, can't do that. I can put a small battery though, and this battery will help us see what our charge level is at all times. And then after that, let's charge this up just so we can see shielding levels. So we'll just bring over a generator, a couple of these charging balls. There we go. Now we have to try and line this up, which is going to take some wide maneuvers, needless to say. Come on, back it up. Oh my goodness, this thing turns so bad. It's not efficient, but hopefully in the long run we'll just have it set pretty much to where, I mean, this thing just kills whatever it's shooting at outright. So you can hear them starting to load in. See, I think I just need a whole bunch of these things because, see, boom, boom. This thing's not charging very quickly. And probably need some more of these. I don't know what these are called. They're almost like Tesla coils. There we go. So 4 of them, you can see. We're having all 4 of these shoot at the same time, which is our current, I mean, base amount of coils. Why is this thing shaking so much? It's kind of bugging me. Alright, so let's go ahead, and I'm going to finish this one for the rest of the way off camera, and then I'll show it off to you guys, see what you guys think of it. And next episode, we'll start the grind to try and actually purchase one. And we'll go from there. Alright, so here we are. This is our Land Battleship. So, I added another main gun. It's facing backwards, but it should be able to turn sideways for the broadside, which would be good. The control tower looks good. I added some spotlights. There are parts on here that I haven't unlocked in the main game just yet. So we'll have to go ahead and try and find some things, mainly these armor plates that I have on here, and this large generator, and I believe these headlights. I think everything else though we have. The bubbles, you know, we're covering most of our bases for sure. Some of the wheels are not fully covered, but that's okay. They're covered at least by repair. And we can go ahead and run this thing through its paces a little bit, see how it's like maneuver. And we can climb hills fairly well. I mean, we have kind of a tank tread terrain. Our firepower that we have. Now sadly I can't turn the main guns unless a target is nearby, but this is how I want to leave this ship. Now obviously better iterations for sure. I made it out of all of the gray blocks, like the battleship the most. Charge fairly well, it seems. And now I don't know how fast it recharges per se, because we have a power battery. It's pretty beastly. I like it.